It's really nice.
Good evening. Thank you all for attending tonight's meeting of the Westerville City Schools Board of Education. The agenda is on display in the screens in the front of the room. You may also follow along by connecting to the district's website, www.wcsoh.org, by clicking on the district link and selecting Board of Education, and then Board Docs Agenda, and then, of course, selecting this evening's meeting. There will be two opportunities to address the board during the meeting, the first being Agenda Item 6.01. The first set of public comments is relative to Agenda Items 7.01 through 11.03. Please state the agenda items that you are referencing at the beginning of your comments. The second opportunity is Agenda Item 12.01. There is a sign-up sheet located on the table in the back of the room if you would like to make public comments. Each speaker will have 5 minutes to address the board. And with that, Ms. Hendricks, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Byrd.
Here.
Ms. Cotter.
Here.
Ms. Davidson. Here. Dr. Nestor Baker. Here. Mr. Velardo.
Here.
Okay, if you would all like to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I would like to recognize our communications liaison, Mr. Velardo.
Thank you, President Cotter. We have a special moment that we'd like to share on behalf of my fellow Board of Education members and in my role as Community Engagement Liaison. We would like to take a few moments to celebrate the lives and honor the memories of Westerville Police Department officers Eric Jering, Anthony Morelli. Eric and Tony, as they are known. Now, this is not about us. It's not about me filling the air with a lot of words. But we felt, along with administration, that this was the right and honorable thing to do. To lift up the memory of these two men, both of whom, like many of our Westerville police officers, spend a great deal of time within our schools interacting with our students. In a moment, we're going to ask you to share in just a few moments of silent reflection. I went to one of our elementary schools early this morning where many of our students happened to live in the neighborhood where these officers were killed. They attend this school, many of them, and I went to offer simply on behalf of the board some thoughts, a listening ear, and some prayers. I saw some deep sadness in the eyes of the staff, but I saw two other things that struck me. I saw a resolve by this very hurting staff to lift the students up. And it's important to remember that while they are students, really, they are children. This hurting staff wanted to help them grieve, help them speak, help them weep, and help them find hope. I also saw, not to my surprise, that our Westerville City School District caregivers and counselors were already on the scene. They were with the staff, they were with the students, and the staff and students were in good hands. And we, my fellow board members, are very grateful to the administration of this school district that helps facilitate such caring. It helps lift up such good people. And I would say that we are grateful to the Westerville community for supporting our caregiving, soul-nurturing efforts, because you see, we believe that education is not just the 3 R's. But it is also helping to build lives, or in this case, perhaps helping to rebuild lives. These children need us to remember that. And sometimes the children lead the way in showing how to care and how to lift up. I received a document that outlines what our schools are doing to support the community. And it's going to take a minute, but I would like to read to you what our schools are doing that we know of. In our elementaries, Robert Frost Elementary, they will be making hearts, and they have brainstormed phrases of sympathy to put on the cards. The card says, "Please take one of our hearts to mend your broken heart." The staff is attempting to buy gift cards to local restaurants and leaving the gift cards with restaurant managers to say, as a police officer from anywhere enters, they can use the card to eat. Huber Ridge is making a chain out of blue paper with positive message on it to give to the Westerville Police Department, and they're also creating a banner for Blendon Police Department in their support. Wilder is making 2 large hearts, and each homeroom is being given a classroom heart on which to sign and write encouraging words. These will be placed on the large hearts. They will be given to the district to share at the appropriate time. They're planning a fundraiser to donate money to the Westerville Police Department. They are planning to sell blue ribbons for $0.25 that the students can wear and show support and gratitude to the police officers. The teachers have decorated the front of the building with blue ribbons as well as places within the building. Even today, they shared a moment of silence reflection. Charrington Elementary are sending banners and cards. Alcott Elementary staff met this morning for a moment of silence, Q&A. They collaborated to discuss how we want to support the students. They wore blue and they tied blue ribbons around the outside of the school. The kindergartners put a handprint on a banner. The first and second graders signed a large card. The third graders handprint on a banner. The fourth graders, Valentine cards. The fifth graders signed a large card. Central High School, sorry. Writing letters of support to the families through homerooms. Taking donations this week and donating them to the GoFundMe account set up by the police department. They are also selling blue T-shirts for $10, and donations and T-shirt sales will run through Friday. South High School. For the game against Central High School on Friday night, we plan to have a ceremony to promote togetherness, healing, and community. In following past practice with games against our sister schools, we will once again be holding both boys and girls varsity games on Friday night. The girls will play at 6, the boys will follow, and in between games, we will honor the fallen officers and the other first responders. We will also capture the moment with some joint activities between the 2 schools. A series of bullet points below outline the event. Both schools will wear blue T-shirts for warm-ups to honor the fallen officers. Proceeds from the T-shirts will go to the causes forwarded to the district. In between games, first responders who serve Westerville, ranging from the Highway Patrol to the Westerville Police Department to Genoa Township to Columbus PD, are invited to take part in the tribute. They will be led into the game, and an announcement will be read by Rick Bannister, who does PA for our games. Both boys and girls team will line the court in blue T-shirts. Following the honoring of first responders, we have asked Corey Baker to check with the families of the fallen officers and see if we can provide a tribute in a moment of silence. Following the moment of silence, a bagpiper will play Amazing Grace, and again we will check with the PD to determine if they are willing to hear the song, which would be part of the earlier held funeral service. After the tributes, both school choirs will combine in an effort to demonstrate togetherness and support and to sing our national anthem. Westerville North High School, as many of you probably know, hosted a time of reflection and storytelling just yesterday, and it was an incredibly well-attended and moving event. It's not written here, but I believe that North is also selling some T-shirts in honor of the fallen officers. Genoa Middle School, they have blue ribbons, American flags, and thank you posters lining the building. Students are writing thank you notes to police officers on blue hearts that will be placed on large posters and delivered to the police department. Blendon Middle School. Blendon had staff and some students wore blue today to show support for the Westerville PD. We also had students sign a banner that says Westerville Strong, Blendon honors officers Morelli and Juring. Transportation Department. The Transportation Department changed the part of the fleet bus numbers to Officer Morelli's badge number and the other half to honor Officer Juring. So their badge numbers were on the buses. I happen to know that while that's a pretty extensive list, I have gotten since then some notices of other things that are going on in the district. I won't read all of that to you. As I said to you in the beginning, this is not a time for us to fill the air with a lot of words. I apologize for as much as I've said already, but we felt it was important just to take a few moments. And if I may ask your indulgence, there is a verse in Scripture that simply says that God honors those who are faithful with these words. Well done, good and faithful servant. We believe that these officers did well and were faithful and gave their lives for other lives. And so we wanted to take the time to honor them. And at this time, if you would, I would like to ask you to stand for a moment of silence and reflection. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, President Cotter and members of the board and administration for allowing us collectively to share some thoughts and moments.
Thank you. So moving on to the next agenda item, 3.01, some happy times for some of our students' winter graduation. I'd like to ask for a motion and a second to approve and recognize the student candidates for this semester graduation from Westerville Central, Westerville North, and Westerville South High Schools who have completed all local and state requirements.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Byrd.
Yes.
Dr. Nestor Baker. Yes. Mr. Vallardo.
Yes.
Ms. Davidson. Yes. Mrs. Cotter.
Yes. Dr. Kellogg, are you going to be presenting the class?
I sure am. President Cotter, members of the Board of Education, distinguished former and current faculty and staff, honored guests, and very proud families of the graduates of Central, North, and South High Schools. The state of Ohio establishes in law 2 requirements for earning a high school diploma. The first, the successful completion of a rigorous academic curriculum. And second, proficient competencies in 5 disciplines that comprise the Ohio graduation test. Ladies and gentlemen, seated before you are the young men and women who have now satisfied those requirements. The administration of Westerville City Schools has verified, and the Board of Education has unanimously approved their candidacy for graduation. And so, it is with great pleasure as Superintendent of Westerville City Schools that I confer to each semester graduate a Westerville City Schools State of Ohio Diploma of Completion. So this next part of the ceremony, we're going to invite each of the high school principals to say a few words and introduce the graduates. I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit because I believe we just have one attendee this evening, so I think I'll switch up the order a little bit, and that keeps them on edge because they never know what's coming. So, Mr. Lanier, I think I'll save you for last so you can do your comments and present your graduate. So why don't we start with Mr. Yancey from Westerville North High School for his comments, and he can give us the names of his graduates.
Good evening. My name is Kurt Yancey. I'm the principal at Westerville North High School. President Cotter, members of the board, Dr. Kellogg, it is my pleasure to be able to publicly say congratulations to all of our graduates this evening, and I'd like to wish all of them the best of luck with all that they do from here. On behalf of the entire Westerville North learning community and all other district employees who have affected your life, please accept our congratulations for your accomplishment. We are all very proud of the Westerville Central Warhawks, the Westerville North Warriors, and the Westerville South Wildcats who are becoming alumni this evening. I encourage you to continue to push yourself, to keep moving forward regardless of the obstacles that you may face or the failures you will endure from here. In the words of the great Michael Jordan, and I've said this before at this ceremony because I tend to try and pay attention to it myself, as I have failed many times in my life. He says, I've missed over 9,000 shots in my career, lost over 300 games, been trusted to take the last shot 26 times and missed. I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. This is a great life lesson as you move on to your next adventure. I wish you the best of luck in the future. My graduates this evening, who are all not able to attend, Hamda Abdul Qadir Mohammed, Aspera Gautam, Deidre Jillian Netter, Haley Annaline Mays, and Anissa Noel Metzger. Congratulations to all of those wonderful warriors. And now it's my pleasure to turn the microphone over to Principal of Westerville South High School, Mr. Mike Starner.
Dr. Kellogg, President Cotter, and members of the board. As Kurt said, my name is Mike Starner. I have the privilege of being the principal of Westerville South High School. And I'm not sure Jordan missed that many shots, Kurt, but I too will fall back on past words that I've used in ceremonies such as this. So to the graduates, or Manny, just to you from Central, being here tonight, when I have the privilege of announcing Chloe Danielle Carpenter, the word perseverance comes to mind, and it's a great word. It's a word that's certainly fitting here, and something that she should be very proud of, and the great teachers who would not let her fail should be proud of. Perseverance, for some of the younger ones in here, it's kind of a big word, lots of syllables and such. But there's an easy way to remember it, and I love to throw this out. The best way you can remember the word perseverance is just to recall it as stick-with-itness. And Chloe, Manny, and all the other graduates in this winter definitely demonstrated a considerable amount of stick-with-itness. And I know I speak for the board, the entire administration, certainly Westerville South, our sister schools, North and Central, when we say we're so proud of you and all the graduates for your stick-with-itness. Thank you.
For Mr. Lanier, do you want to join up front and then he can introduce his graduate?
I'm a little taller, so the microphone situation is not the best for me, but we'll make do. President Cotter, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Kellogg, Ms. Hendricks, it is truly an honor and a pleasure to be here today to celebrate with our graduate and all of our graduates and also the family. I'm Tom Lanier. I'm the new principal of Westerville Central. And, this is the first year, and so this is all new for me. So I did not have the privilege of really having Manny as a student, but I've gotten to know him this year. And what was really interesting is on the drive over, I was thinking about what to say, and I followed Mr. Yancey, Mr. Starner, Dr. Kellogg. You messed up the whole flow here. However, I really wanted to think about, what it means to be an educator, and I am privileged to live in a home of educators. My wife is a first grade teacher, so she has all these folks coming in. And as a high school person, I have them going out. And what is really the most important, I think the best day of any educator is when you have the opportunity to take what's in your hand, President Cotter, and hand it to somebody, because that's their passport to what they're going to be doing next. And that's what this is all about today. Mr. Starner mentioned perseverance. I wanted to really bring Mr. Klepfer up here, who was our school counselor and instrumental in helping Manny through his journey. And I think what's even more important is you turn and look at the family, because each of these people that are standing here have a story behind them, and the family that's here really helped them on their journey and through and to being successful and being here tonight. So I really applaud the family and all of their work, because I know talking to Manny, he said there were times he wanted to give up, and his mom wouldn't let him give up, and Mr. Klepfer wouldn't let him give up. And if you know anything about Manny, he's going to do great things moving forward. So it is certainly an honor and a privilege to acknowledge Chevelle Emmanuel Johnson as a graduate of Westerville Central High School. We also, I'm going to let you go ahead and get your diploma, and then I'll make the announcement for the other names. So. Good job. Congratulations. And for those of you that are not aware, Manny is in training to work on trying to make the Olympic team in 2020 as a boxer. And he's got a pretty good shot at it, so we're looking forward to that journey for him. In addition to Manny graduating from Westerville Central, we also want to acknowledge the work of Olivia Morgan Zalakar, Corby Aqua Akbari, Shada Abdullah Muslim Al-Sakari, Michelle Catherine Doan, and Aislinn Angela Marie Waite. All of these folks are graduates of Westerville Central, and we congratulate them on their hard work and wish them best of luck in their journey. So, thank you.
He's ranked #1 in the nation in his weight. And like number 6 or 7 in the world.
So our graduate is welcome to stay for the entire meeting if he would like. If he and his family would like to leave, they're welcome to do that as well, and go out and start their celebrations early. Thank you. So cute. Okay, agenda item 4.01 is our minutes. We don't actually have a motion for the minutes. We just ask, are there any comments among the board for the minutes that were provided? No? Okay. Moving on then to agenda item 5.01. I think that we have a speaker, Mr. Al Hammond, member of our audit committee, is going to discuss our FY 2017 audit report. Do I need a motion for that?
I'm a lot shorter than the last guy. So. Good evening. My name is Al Hammond. I'm a member of the audit committee. First of all, I want to thank the board for an opportunity to help serve as a member of the board, or the audit committee. I wanted to say good evening to Madam President, the board members, and Dr. Kellogg and Ms. Hendricks. I have exemplary news. We met with the auditors probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and the audit that was completed for the fiscal year that ended on June 30th of 2017 had no findings, totally clean. They gave an unmodified opinion, and there were no reportable issues. They did, however, list a previous issue in there once the audit is being read, or once you see it online, from an audit that was issued in 2014. There was some discussion about that, and the Finance Committee, or Ms. Hendricks, was able to identify what the issue was and why it was still open, and it was a reasonable response. Again, it's unusual for them to put something in that's that old, but they did, since it was their first year doing the audit, not the Auditor of State. So I wanted to congratulate the Financial Department of Westerville City Schools. Again, they've done an excellent job. This is the third audit in a row, 15, 16, and 17, that had no audit findings. All right. Any questions? Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, Al. Thanks for volunteering your time. Okay, moving on to agenda item 6.01, public comments. We don't have any comments this evening. Nobody has signed up for that. Then moving on to agenda item 7.01, there's no items there. We'll be moving on to agenda items 0.1 through 0.9. Ms. Lofton? Oh, I'm sorry. Can I have a motion and a second to approve agenda items 0.1 through 0.9?
So moved.
Second.
I have 10. Or 10. Thank you.
I was going to say.
Okay, I couldn't see it,
You
sorry.
got it. Thank you. I was looking at it
8.10.
wondering.
Okay, so I'll amend my request. Can I have a motion and a second to approve agenda items 0.1 through 0.10?
8.01 through 8.10, yes.
8.01 through 8.10.
So moved.
Second. Third.
Fourth.
Thank you. Good evening, President Cotter, members of the board. Tonight's consent agenda contains 10 sections involving 99 persons. Section 8.01 is the resignation of 3 classified employees and 2 substitutes. 8.02 is the resignation of 1 teacher, 1 home instruction tutor, and 2 supplemental contracts. 8.03 is the termination of 1 classified employee. 8.04 is a leave of absence for 2 classified employees and 1 amended end date. 8.05 is a contractual status change for 13 classified employees and 1 amended effective date. 8.06 is a one-time payment for 1 teacher. 8.07 is a temporary change of assignment for 5 classified employees and 2 amended end dates. 8.08 is a corrective action for 1 classified employee. 8.09 is the employment of 7 classified employees and 1 substitute. And 8.10 is a variety of employment actions for 55 licensed persons. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Can you please call the roll?
Dr. Nestor Baker.
Yes.
Mr. Byrd.
Yes.
Mr. Velardo.
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Moving on to agenda item 9.01, final reading for revised policy 8330, student records. Can I have a motion and a second to approve this policy?
So moved.
Second.
Can you please call a roll?
Mrs. Davidson.
Yes.
Dr. Nestor Baker.
Yes.
Mr. Byrd.
Yes.
Mr. Velardo.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes. Okay, 9.02 as a final reading for revised policy 8600.04, bus driver certification. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve this policy?
So moved.
And a second.
Okay. Please call.
Mr. Velardo.
Yes.
Mr. Byrd.
Yes.
Dr. Nestor Baker.
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes. And the next two are both curriculum items. Can we have a single motion to approve 9.03 and 9.04?
So moved.
Second. Dr. Nestor Baker.
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson.
Yes.
Mr. Byrd.
Yes.
Mr. Velardo.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes. Okay, so item 10.01, there's no new business this evening. Moving on to item 11.01, can I have a motion and a second to approve our donations, which of course we are always thankful for?
So moved.
Second.
Can you please call the roll? I'm sorry.
Mr. Velardo.
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson.
Yes.
Mr. Byrd.
Yes.
Dr. Nestor Baker.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes. Moving on to item 11.02, overnight and out-of-state field trips. Looks like we have a few trips. Future City National Competition, that's exciting.
Can we call out one?
Sure.
They're all great. This is all great.
Which one do you want to go on?
Well, these are all awesome. I think we want to highlight, don't we, the Heritage team?
Yes.
Future City competition, going to the national
Yes.
championship. This is all tremendous stuff, but that's, I just wanted to highlight the Heritage folks for that. Just really unbelievable work, and I'm not even sure if past city or present city, much less future city, but that's really incredible hard work. Thank you, Heritage, and the teachers and staff that are leading that way.
Can we have a motion and a second to approve the overnight trips?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Dr. Nestor Baker.
Yes.
Mr. Byrd.
Yes.
Mr. Velardo.
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes. Okay, we have item 11.03. Is there anyone presenting on that?
I think Jen Knapp is here and available to present on
Okay.
if we need.
Can I have a motion and a second to approve item 11.03?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, good. Thanks. Maybe it's the battery?
There's the battery, and it's all empty on the inside.
Sorry, did I say that out loud?
Speak loud.
Can I go ahead? Is it okay? Okay. So I can move that. So every year, we present to you the student fee schedule. And in the past, we used to do our student fees differently, in which we charge students for some of the consumable items that we had. This board and Dr. Kellogg, roughly in 2015, moved those into part of what the district provides as a resource to our students and families. So no longer are we seeing market changes in our student fee schedule because those things have been removed. So there are no changes to this year's student fee schedule in terms of class fees or individual student fees for particular courses. The two modifications are, one, The fees included for the additional courses that were just approved, and those are the standard fee for science classes, which is $16, so that is for the engineering course, and $25 for scripts for IB theater. So those are two additions. The only other change is in the very beginning of our document, which is for all-day kindergarten. That's adjusted yearly based on the income requirements for the adjusted scale for fees for all-day kindergarten. So those are the changes. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Can you please call the roll?
Mr. Byrd?
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson?
Yes.
Dr. Nestor Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mrs. Cotter?
Yes. Moving on in the agenda, item 12.01, we do not have anyone signed up for this public comment period either. So we will then go on to 13.01, board comments. Does anyone on the board have comments they'd like to share this evening?
Just briefly, this afternoon I had an opportunity to go to Westerville Central as a dad, and I share these comments as a dad, not as a board member. Typically, I make my rounds because I seem to end up there during the lunch period and say hello to all of our staff. Today, I made a point to hunt down and stick my hand out for Officer Joe Graham, who has been my school resource officer for a number of years. He always seeks me out. And he always wants to take a moment to tell me what's going on. And I felt that I needed to go see him. And I'd encourage those in our community to take time to spend time with our officers, with our public servants, our firefighters, our medics. They serve and they place service above self every single day. And I think what struck me is that this is the first time that I think it registered for me as I stuck out my hand to shake Officer Joe's hand that he was sitting at that table with his ballistic vest on, and he was sitting there with his sidearm on, and he was sitting there with a black stripe on his badge, prepared for anything that might happen. And that is why we need to make sure that we reach out to those service personnel in our community, because they're there for us every single minute of the day.
Do you have any comments? No? Okay. Comments?
I'll pass tonight.
Okay. Well, I did want to make a couple of comments. Of course, I think everybody has, talked about the police officers we lost in our community over the weekend, and we do appreciate the police, the support the police provide to the schools. I also wanted to mention that we just recently ended our period of applications for our treasurer search, and we will begin looking at who to interview to fill that role. I wanted to thank our interim treasurer, Laura Hendricks. She's done a great job. We've been really lucky to have somebody on staff who has their treasurer's license certification. And then I also wanted to recognize one of our other staff members, a teacher, who just received an award from the Columbus Symphony, the Music Educator Award. John Laswell, the Director of Bands for Westerville South High School in our district, was recognized for the secondary level award as a Music Educator winner. So thank you for that. Anyone else have comments?
You know what? I do have two things I wanted to fill you in on. So I went to the City Council meeting last week, and I'm excited to announce that the city is moving forward with changing their code, and that North and South hopefully will be getting an electronic sign soon. So they, still they have a process to go through, and we'll do that, but Mr. Hayek said he would like to see this done by recess in July, so hopefully we'll proceed pretty quickly. Second thing is Westerville Education Challenge is hosting their yearly fundraiser this week at Medallion on Friday nights, and proceeds from that event will go back into our schools to support social emotional learning, which we all know is very important. So you all are welcome. If you would like tickets to attend, please check the website, and we can help you out with that. That's it.
And Bowl-a-thon is this weekend as well, so if you have nothing to do on Saturday and you want to see people like me embarrass themselves, come on out and join us at the bowling alley.
There was a rumor about the Friday evening event, the Westerville Education Challenge, that my band had been asked to provide the music, but we turned them down.
Shocker.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Okay.
It'll be the Reaganomics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me
back up there. Yeah.
One more thing I wanted to add, I just want to remind everyone, we are still seeking your feedback on facilities committee recommendations. If you want to visit our website, our thought exchange platform will be open through Valentine's Day. That's February 14th. And if you visit our website, wcsoh.org, and click on facilities, you can contribute your thoughts and feedback on the facility committee recommendations. Okay, if there's no other comments, we'll move on to agenda item 14.01. The board will meet in executive session on Monday, February 26th, and Wednesday, February 28th at 6 p.m. in the board training room. Again, that's for our treasurer search. At the Early Learning Center, 936 East Wind Drive. The board will also meet in regular session on Monday, March 12th at 6 p.m. here again at the Early Learning Center. Moving on to agenda item 15.01. Can I have a motion and a second for an executive session for the purpose of consideration of the appointment or employment of a school official?
So moved.
Second.
Sorry.
Can you please call the roll?
Yes.
Dr. Nestor Baker.
Yes.
Mr. Florida.
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes. And we will not be doing any additional business after the executive session, so we will adjourn from there. Thank you all for attending this evening. Have a good night.